Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's February 2nd, 2026. We are going to read from Genesis chapter 34 and Mark chapter 5. All right. Genesis 34. Jacob has come back to Canaan. They've settled down. Now, we were told he had a daughter, Dinah. That was his firstborn daughter. And we're going to get a little more of her story. Unfortunately, it's not a pleasant story. But we want to see that it's not just unpleasant for her, that all kinds of deceit goes on here. She's raped. The punishment that's dished out by Jacob's sons on the person that raped her extends to their whole community and wipes them. So that goes beyond what was right and proper. Just that idea of a little bit of sin leads to a little more sin, leads to a lot of sin, leads to this destruction, leads to Jacob coming to the realization that, hey, you know what, we're just a little group of people in this promised land of Canaan, and we're not very strong. And if we anger everybody, and they all come against us, there's no way we can defend ourselves. He hasn't quite got to the point yet of realizing that God's going to be his defender, but by that same token, he does recognize that even though they're protected by God, that doesn't give them the right to just go out and kill and hurt everybody, anyone that crosses them. Let's go ahead. We're going to read Genesis chapter 34. Now Dinah, the daughter of Leah, whom she had borne to Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. And when Shechem, the son of Hamor the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her, he took her and lay with her and violated her. His soul was strongly attracted to Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the young woman and spoke kindly to the young woman. So Shechem spoke to his father Hamor, saying, "Get me this young woman as a wife." So his actions and his words don't match up. Verse 5, and Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah, his daughter. Now his sons were with his livestock in the field, so Jacob held his peace until they came. Then Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out to Jacob to speak with him. And the sons of Jacob came in from the field when they heard it, and the men were grieved and very angry, because he had done a disgraceful thing in Israel by lying with Jacob's daughter. In Israel, so that's the first time we're seeing that used. A thing which ought not to be done, the rape of Dinah. But Hamor spoke with them, saying, "The soul of my son Shechem longs for your daughter. Please give her to him as a wife, and make marriages with us. Give your daughters to us, and take our daughters to yourselves. So you shall dwell with us, and the land shall be before you. Dwell and trade in it, and acquire possessions for yourselves in it." Not entirely unreasonable. Then Shechem said to her father and her brothers, "Let me find favor in your eyes, and whatever you say to me I will give. Ask me ever so much dowry and gift, and I will give according to what you say to me. But give me the young woman as a wife." So I guess he's trying to make it right. But the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor his father, and spoke deceitfully, because he had defiled Dinah the sister. And they said to him, "We cannot do this thing to give our sister to one who is uncircumcised, for that would be a reproach to us. But on this condition we will consent to you, if you will become as we are. If every male of you is circumcised, then we will give our daughters to you, and we will take our daughters to us, and we will dwell with you, and we will become one people. But if you will not heed us and be circumcised, then we will take our daughter and be gone." Now, circumcision is given to them by God to mark them as God's people, so it's not something that they should be using to trick other people with. So again, the sin is being multiplied. Verse 18, and their words pleased Hamor and Shechem, Hamor's son. So the young men did not delay to do the thing, because he delighted in Jacob's daughter. He was more honorable than all the household of his father. Which isn't saying much, apparently. Verse 20, and Hamor and Shechem, his son, came to the gate of their city, and spoke with the men of their city, saying, "These men are at peace with us, therefore let them dwell in the land and trade in it, for indeed the land is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters to us as wives, and let us give them our daughters. Only on this condition will the men consent to dwell with us, to be one people, if every male among us is circumcised as they are circumcised. Will not their livestock, their property, and every animal of theirs be ours? Only let us consent to them, and they will dwell with us." And all who went out of the gate of the city heeded Hamor and Shechem, his son. Every male was circumcised, all who went out of the gate of the city. So more deception. Well, we'll do it, but it's because we're going to get all their stuff. Sin is being multiplied. Verse 25, now it came to pass on the third day, when they were in pain, that two of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, each took his sword and came boldly upon the city and killed all the males. And they killed Hamor and Shechem his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah from Shechem's house and went out. The sons of Jacob came upon the slain and plundered the city, because their sister had been defiled. They took their sheep, their oxen, and their donkeys, what was in the city and what was in the field, and all their wealth. All their little ones and their wives they took captive, and they plundered even all that was in the houses. Then Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, you have troubled me by making me obnoxious among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites. And since I am few in number, they will gather themselves together against me and kill me. I shall be destroyed, my household and I. But they said, should he treat our sister like a harlot? Now, no, the answer is no, he shouldn't have. But the punishment hasn't fit the crime, and it just led to more and more violence. That's what we want to see there. So still trouble following them. And we want to see that every time in these stories of the patriarchs that they take things into their own hands and don't leave it to God, that kind of makes things worse and worse and worse. Let's go ahead. We're going to jump over to Mark chapter 5. Then they came to the other side of the sea, to the country of the Gadarenes. And when he had come out of the boat, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit, who had his dwelling among the tombs, and no one could bind him, not even with chains, because he had often been bound with shackles and chains, and the chains had been pulled apart by him, and the shackles broken in pieces, neither could anyone tame him. So he has come to the eastern side of the Sea of Galilee. So he is now in Gentile territory, where he meets this man coming out of the tombs. Tombs are unclean for Jews. So if he's a Jew there's something unclean going on there. If he's a Gentile, well, Gentiles are considered unclean as well. Now in Matthew it was two men. Here it's only one man. Why the difference? Well, only one of them speaks with Jesus. So it's possible that Mark, writing from Peter's perspective, only sees the one that's actually interacting with Jesus, whereas Matthew, who is a little bit further back, can see that, oh no, there were two of them that showed up there, even though only one of them came forward. Verse 5, and always night and day he was in the mountains and in the tombs, crying out and cutting himself with stones. And everyone obviously knows that this is happening. Verse 6, and when he saw Jesus from afar, he ran and worshipped him. And he cried out with a loud voice and said, what have I to do with you, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I implore you by God that you do not torment me. So again, we see the demon recognize Jesus and recognize that he's God. In fact, it tells us that he worships him. Verse 8, for he, Jesus, said to him, come out of the man, unclean spirit. And then he asked him, what is your name? And he answered, saying, my name is Legion, for we are many. Also he begged him earnestly that he would not send them out of the country. Now every other time we see Jesus interacting with a demon possessed, he doesn't let them speak. Why is this different? Well, because this is a teaching moment. He wants us to see some things. He's not telling us, no, this is how you should do it. We saw how we should do it. Don't let the demons have any word edgewise. They're gone. In Jesus' name, go. But this is what he wants us to see. And what does he want us to see? He asks him what his name is. And the demon doesn't answer. Doesn't give him his name. He says, no, we're Legion. There's too many of us. You want a name? Legion is 6,000. We got 6,000 names. And that's what Jesus wants us to see. That usually it's not one demon. If one demon is at home, he's going to go invite friends. We're going to see that story a little bit later. So this maybe Jew, maybe Gentile, living in unclean tombs, doesn't just welcome one demon to come in and live with him. He's got a legion of demons that have come in and lived there. And the demons are begging Jesus, saying, please don't send us away. We like it here. We're really at home here. Don't send us out of here. This is a great place for us. These are Gentiles, and this is maybe Jews living in unclean conditions who don't want to follow God. Leave us here. This is what we were made for. Verse 11, now a large herd of swine was feeding there near the mountain. So not only do we have someone in a tomb, which is unclean, we have pigs, which are also unclean. So this is a pagan area. So all the demons begged him, saying, send us to the swine that we may enter them. And at once Jesus gave them permission. Then the unclean spirits went out and entered the swine. There were about 2,000. Then the herd ran violently down the steep place into the sea and drowned in the sea. Now legion meant 6,000. There's only 2,000 pigs, so unless they doubled up, demons were lying about how many there were. But we see that what was the goal of the demons? To destroy, to tear apart. As soon as they're in the pigs don't have our capacity to resist or to think highly of ourselves, and they just run into the sea and drown. Verse 14, so those who fed the swine fled, and they told it in the city and in the country. So there's witnesses. And they went out to see what it was that had happened. And they came to Jesus and saw the one who had been demon-possessed and had the legion sitting and clothed in his right mind. And they were afraid. And those who saw it told them how it happened to him who had been demon-possessed and about the swine. Then they began to plead with him to depart from their region. So they see this casting out of demons, and their reaction is to tell Jesus, go away. No. We want. Yeah, there's a reason why the demons didn't want to leave this area. We want you to leave this area and leave us to the demons. It's essentially what they told him. Verse 18, and when he got into the boat, he who had been demon-possessed begged him that he might be with him. However, Jesus did not permit him, but said to him, go home to your friends and tell them what great things the Lord has done for you and how he has had compassion on you. And he departed, and he began to proclaim in Decapolis all that Jesus had done for him, and all marveled. Decapolis is the 10 cities on the eastern side of the Sea of Galilee that are Gentile. And this is, Jesus departs from his usual mode of operation, because usually he tells them, no, shh, don't spread it around. We don't want the Pharisees and the Sadducees to attack me yet. But here he is in the gentle region. He says, hey, knock yourself out. Go tell everyone you can. So we have an entire region that hates Jesus and wants him gone, and one man proclaiming what Jesus did for him. Verse 21, now when Jesus had crossed over again by boat to the other side, so now he's gone back to the Jewish territory, a great multitude gathered to him, and he was by the sea. And behold, one of the rulers of the synagogue came, Jairus by name, and when he saw him, he fell at his feet, and begged him earnestly, saying, my little daughter lies at the point of death. Come and lay your hands on her, that she may be healed, and she will live. So Jesus went with him, and a great multitude followed him, and thronged him. Now a certain woman had a flow of blood for 12 years, and had suffered many things from many physicians. She had spent all that she had, and was no better, but rather grew worse. When she heard about Jesus, she came behind him in the crowd and touched his garment. For she said, if I only may touch his clothes, I shall be made well. Immediately the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of the affliction. And Jesus, immediately knowing in himself that power had gone out of him, turned around on the crowd and said, who touched my clothes? But his disciples said to them, you see the multitude thronging you, and you say, who touched me? And he looked around to see her who had done this thing. But the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what had happened to her, came and fell down before him and told him the whole truth. And he said to her, daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed of your affliction. While he was still speaking, some came from the ruler of the synagogue's house, who said, your daughter is dead. Why trouble the teacher any further? As soon as Jesus heard the word that was spoken, he said to the ruler of the synagogue, do not be afraid, only believe. And he permitted no one to follow him except Peter, James, and John, the brother of James. So he's telling him, hey, you came to me in faith when you thought she was sick. Now we found out she's dead. Hang on to your faith. Don't let it go. You had faith in me that I could heal her sickness. Then keep having that faith that even though she's dead, I can work a miracle. Verse 41, then he took the child by the hand, and he said to her, Talitha Kumi, which is translated from Aramaic, little girl, I say to you, arise. In Aramaic would have been what the Jews spoke amongst themselves. 42. Immediately the girl arose and walked, for she was 12 years of age. And they were overcome with great amazement. But he commanded them strictly that no one should know it, and said that something should be given her to eat. So again, Gentiles can go crazy and tell everyone what happened, but the Jews, we got to keep it a little bit on the down low, because when the word gets out, then the authorities are going to come, and that last week of his life is going to start, and we don't want that to start yet. May God bless reading of his word. May God bless you. Bye.